The Council of Elders is the third encounter in the Throne of Thunder.
There are 4 trolls that need to be killed to progress. Frost King Malik, High Priestess Marley, Saul the Sandcrawler, and Kaz Rajan.
The 4 bosses don't share health, and one of them will always be empowered by the spirit of Garajel the Spirit Binder. In order to get rid of the empowerment, the boss needs to take 25% of their health and damage. When a boss becomes empowered, a few effects will take place. The boss will start using new abilities, and the boss will gain a dark energy bar that will slowly fill. It will fill up in 67 seconds. If it reaches full, the boss will start using dark power, which deals progressively more damage every hit. Breaking a boss out of empowerment will give the boss a stack of lightning presence, which increases dark energy regeneration and damage by 10%. So let's just move on to the boss's individual abilities. Frost King Malik uses 2 abilities. Biting Cold will cause a random raider to deal damage to everyone within 4 yards every 2 seconds for 30 seconds. The targeted player needs to run away from the raid. Frigid Assault deals damage to the boss's target and applies a debuff. Once the debuff reaches 15 stacks, the player will be stunned for 15 seconds. This will need a tank switch or will require some sort of popping of cooldowns to deal with it. Once empowered, Biting Cold is turned into Frostbite. This hits a random player and deals decent damage to them. It also applies 5 stacks of the Frostbite to them. This will cause players within 4 yards to take damage for 30 seconds. The damage is split amongst players, so have 2 players on 10 man or 4 on 25 man move within 4 yards for the affected player. The next boss is Kaz Rajan. This is the bulky troll just uses Reckless Charge and rolls around. This causes him to charge towards a random raider and damaging everyone in his path and knocking back players who are at the end of the location. So yip yourself out of the way, and when he's empowered, he will use Overload after Reckless Charge. This causes the boss to be stunned for 20 seconds, but he will reflect 50% of his damage taken. Saul the Sandcrawler uses 2 abilities. Samble hits a random raider and deals decent damage to them and all raid members within 5 yards. This can be interrupted. He also uses Quicksand, which creates a void zone at a raider's location and snares anyone within 7 yards, so everyone needs to be spread. Every second the zone will deal nature damage to anyone in it, and each time someone is hit by the zone, they gain a stack of Ensnared, which reduces movement speed, and reaching 5 stacks will entrap the person for 30 seconds. When empowered, the boss uses Sandstorm every 40 seconds. This makes every Quicksand turn into a living sand. These adds go after the tank with aggro on Saul, and they will just keep attacking. When the ad dies, it leaves a Quicksand where it died. These ads need to be dropped because they will gain a stack of Fortified every time Sandstorm is used. This causes the ad to deal 100% increased damage and will heal them to full health. The last boss is High Priestess Marley. This boss uses 2 abilities. Wrath of the Loa will hit a random raider and deals decent damage to them, but it can be interrupted and you should attempt to do so. Blessed Loa Spirit will summon a Blessed Loa Spirit at the boss, go figure. The ad will move towards another boss with the lowest health, and if it reaches them, it will heal them for 5% of their health. The ad can be slowed or rooted and all the good stuff, but after 20 seconds the ad will just jump to the target boss. So these ads need to be focused down. You need to tank this bitch away from the other bosses. When empowered, Wrath of the Loa will deal shadow damage opposed to holy damage, and she will also use Shadow Loa Spirits, which of course will summon a Shadow Loa Spirit. This time the ad will fixate on a random raider, and if it gets within 6 yards of the target, that said target will die. So same 20-second rule applies. It will jump to its target. These 2 need to be focused. So tanks. One tank will need to tank Marley, and the other tank will have to take Saul. The 2 tanks will need to tank switch off of Frost King Malik whenever one is about to reach 15 stacks of Frigid Assault. The tank without the Frost King should pick up the living sands if any spawn. Healers, there's no one specific thing to remember, except that obviously one tank will be tanking 2 bosses and be tanking more damage. There's just a ton of raid damage that will be happening, so just constantly be paying attention. DPS need to kill the lowest spirits first, then the living sands, then attack the empowered boss. But the priority is not just so black and white. We found that when Kaz Rajan is empowered, just allow him to roll around a little bit before attacking him. Focus on killing Saul during this time. This of course depends on how strong your DPS is. Because if Saul's empowered, you need to go full beast mode and burn his ass down. If Saul manages to empower twice, there's just going to be a fuck ton of ads that spawn. I would avoid damaging the Frost King, just because if the tank is tanking Frost King and Marley, then the Loa will be right on top of the Frost King if he has low health. But all in all, try and get Saul down first, without forgetting that the empowerment will start dealing raid damage if it hits 100. Once Saul is dead, we recommend taking out Marley next, but she's not as big of a priority as Saul was. Everyone needs to remember to be interrupting Wrath of the Loa and Sam Bolt. Everyone should try and spread out for the fight and avoid standing in void zones. I would use Lust whenever you have a chance to burn down Saul. That's all you need to know to disband the Council of Elders. Good luck, adventurer.